In the first 2 months of the war, the Regia Aeronautica realized that the bombing of ships from high altitudes did not have the desired effect. A grazing attack conducted via torpedoes was required. Torpedo bombers were needed. Italy already from the end of the 20s had conducted many experiences on this specialty. Experiences which, however, had not led to the establishment of a real operational department. But Italy had what it needed: excellent torpedoes developed in Fiume for release from aircraft and an excellent aircraft as a launch platform, the Savoia Marchetti 79. The Savoia Marchetti 79 was a 3-engined aircraft. Propelled by Alfa Romeo 126 engines in the first 2 series and Alfa Romeo 128 in the 3rd series. Even in conditions of reduced logistics. The Savoia Marchetti S-79 was an aircraft born as a fast transport in the civilian field in the mind of the engineer Alessandro Marchetti and reconverted for war use. It was maneuverable, agile despite its size, fast when it arrived online in the mid-1930s, an excellent collector, very reliable. The mixed technique with which it was built, which alternated a frame in molybdenum steel tubes in the fuselage, a bow part of the fuselage covered in alloy. The study of the profile of the wing made of wood, were all the result of a careful aerodynamic study, deriving from the elaboration and advancement of the structural techniques developed, in the first 2 decades of the 20th century, by the engineer Verduzio. The elaboration and geniality of the engineer Marchetti had also expertly cushioned the perturbation in the aerodynamic flow, caused by the propellers and the vibrations of the 3 engines, so as to generate a fluid wake and a structural interaction that resembled a low-power twin engine rather than a tri-engine. The study of the interaction between the stresses and the modulation obtained for them in the fuselage wing connections and engine nacelles made it possible to obtain an aircraft that managed shape deformations induced by shots from even large caliber weapons in an excellent way, not collapsing structurally or fluid dynamically. Precisely with the use of this aircraft, the Regia Aeronautica established the special torpedo bomber department in Grazia. It was equipped, on its appearance, with 5 S-79 trimotors under the command of Major Amedeo Moggioli. The unit quickly entered into action as early as mid-August 1940. In October 1940, with the establishment of the Torpedo Bomber Training Unit of Grazia, excellently trained squadrons were quickly formed. The torpedo bomber increasingly became an extremely insidious weapon for the British fleet. In reality, the Savoia Marchetti S-79 was only supposed to be a temporary aircraft, because already in 1941 it should have been replaced, in the development plans of the Regia Aeronautica, by the Savoia Marchetti S-84 and then by the splendid Cant Z-1018, unfortunately. Of these last 2 aircraft, the first proved to be poorly designed and inferior to the S-79 and the second, due to the difficult tuning of the Alfa Romeo 135 engine and the unreliability of the Piaggio engines that it was thought to use as a replacement. They never entered the operational line. Therefore, after a painful interlude in the use of the S-84, all the weight of the torpedo bomber specialty returned to the shoulders of the S-79, which despite having been improved was now an outdated aircraft, at least for the front-line role, in 1942. The torpedo bombers performed honorably in offensive sorties. despite the limitations of performance and size of the aircraft employed. In 1940, Italian torpedo bombers hit various British ships, including 3 cruisers. In 1941, several naval vessels, tankers, transports were either seriously damaged or sunk, including the battleship Nelson. Similar results were achieved in 1942, but the problems of escaping the attack of increasingly perfected and armed enemy fighter aircraft were already recognized. So much so that in 1943, the losses increased exponentially, but they managed to hit the indomitable aircraft carrier, seriously damaging it. How many of the torpedo departments still operate in the ranks of the Italian Social Republic obtained limited results. For the execution of the means and for the antiquity of the Savoia Marchetti 79. As regards the most important warships, the Italian torpedo bombers therefore managed to hit an aircraft carrier, a battleship and 6 cruisers.